Welcome to the Delight Your Marriage podcast. You're joining me, Bella Rose, as I dive deep into the beauty, power, and truths about intimacy. Learn not only the practicals, but the heart behind what making love is all about. Delight your marriage.
All right, welcome. This is Bella. I'm so grateful that you're joining me. So I'm so excited because right now it is the holiday season. Christmas is almost here. And whether you are quarantining or you decided to travel or you've got limited contact with people, I invite you to utilize this time of transition around the holidays. It's a little bit different. I encourage you to allow this time to shift the culture of your marriage. Now, before I dive into that, I'd like you to get a couple of free resources from me. First of all, for husbands, if you are interested in introducing your wife to my work, because the holidays are here, this is a perfect opportunity to say, you know, honey, for Christmas, would you be willing to watch a free training? And if you and your wife have a healthy, good relationship, that's a great opportunity to do that. If you don't have a healthy, safe, good relationship where she would be receptive to that, I encourage you to go to delightyourmarriage.com/advice for husbands. All right, so for wives, let me just mention that free training that I've just done, and it was incredible for so many women to go through, and they just got so much value out of it. Even previous clients were saying that it was extremely helpful for them. So you can go to delightyourmarriage.com/SC for that free training about seductive confidence. So I really encourage you to do that. Especially now, I'm not sure how long it's going to be available, so do it as soon as you can. All right, so let's talk about shifting the culture right now during a transition. So if you are listening to me in the present, you are probably impacted by COVID. And maybe for a few more years, who knows how long it's going to be. But what I would encourage you to do is use this shift in life and lifestyle to actually shift the culture of your marriage. Because we can use external stimuli to either impact us in a positive way or in a negative way. I love the quote, I guess the quote question, if you will, is looking at every situation in your life and saying, how can I see this as a gift? How can I see this as a gift? A student of mine was, his life was just several in fact, completely jostled by quarantine. So he had to quarantine, his wife had to quarantine, the kids had to quarantine, someone got COVID, like so many different quarantines, and they were separated for, somewhere close to a month. Several of them in the family were quarantined in different areas of the house, and that has actually drawn them closer. It's caused them to intentionally text each other and talk in very intentional ways, and they can't be together, so they're more intentional about communicating. And wouldn't that be an incredible legacy of COVID and holidays and all of this if you can really shift the culture of your home, of your family? Because yes, we are all practically all addicted to our screens. You know, when was the last day that you didn't have your phone, that you didn't turn on a TV, that you didn't turn on a computer screen? When was the last day you didn't log on to social media, that you didn't do your online shopping, whatever it is? And when we look back at the end of our lives, when we meet Jesus, are we going to miss those things? Are we going to say, I really wish I had spent more time, posting or liking or whatever, creating more crafts? I don't know. I don't know what your thing is, but more than likely, the thought process is going to be about, who did I love? Did I love well? And so you have an opportunity right now, as life is shifting for the entire world, to shift your culture in your marriage. To shift the culture in your marriage, where there's more face-to-face time, where there's more engaged conversation, when there's more curiosity between you and your spouse, and there's more playfulness, there's more fun, there's more safety. So if you are a husband and you are really trying to figure out how to make intimacy more frequent, more passionate in your marriage, it comes as a result of a safe culture between you and your wife. As a result of a safe culture, that attracts her towards you, towards intimacy. I say that all the time, safety, but what does that mean? It means that you can be silly in front of her, she can be silly in front of you, and you accept each other, you appreciate each other, you are grateful for each other. She knows she's accepted by you. She knows you're not going to judge her. You don't have these expectations, these high standards that she feels like she's not good enough. That's a culture you have to develop, the discipline you have to develop between the two of you, so that your marriage is a wonderful thing to come to, that you want to be around each other. She's got to want to be around you, to want to make love to you. Your sex life is not different from who you are. So if you're kind of boorish and mean and have these high expectations, even if you don't tell her them, she's smart. She can sense it. She understands when, you know, you're grumpy and grouchy because sex is not the way you want it to be. But instead, if you can really have a playful, relaxed atmosphere between the two of you, that's going to attract her towards intimacy in a way that expectations never will. They never will. But the gratefulness, the peace in your home, the fun, the playfulness, all of that is going to cause her to want to be around you, want to share herself with you. So that's my encouragement, is to actually use this time as an opportunity to change your marriage, to change everything. Because it's vulnerable to do new things, isn't it? It's vulnerable to try out playfulness. It's vulnerable to make your spouse laugh, or at least try to. Oh my gosh. So I guess it was 2.5 years ago almost, where it was my birthday coming up and I wanted to do something I had never done before. And so I decided that I was going to do stand-up comedy because that scared me. But at some point in my life, I wanted to do it. So I decided, you know what? Now is the time. My birthday is coming up. It was a big year. And I just decided this is it. This is the time. So I texted a bunch of my friends before I could get out of it and invited them, the date, the time. I couldn't figure out where it was going to be yet. So I just, I had to commit. So I let them all know. It was about 2 months in advance. And then I went to write out what I was going to perform. And I went to a friend of mine, we were talking and I was like, you know, I'm just going to do it once and done. I'll do it the same day everyone's there. It'll be my first time and then it'll be done. And she's like, what? No, bomb in front of the people you don't know. Don't bomb in front of your friends. And I was like, oh, yeah, I guess that does make sense. And that was very good advice, because the first time I did do stand-up comedy, it was like crickets. I mean, it was so bad. So bad. In fact, I thought these were great jokes. The only joke people actually laughed at was the joke I didn't intend to tell. So I said something along the lines of, I'm a nice person. I do X, Y, and Z. And no one laughed. And then I was like, well, you guys aren't nice people. And then they laughed. So it was painful. It was painful to everyone involved. And so I had to rewrite the whole thing. I think there was like 2 weeks before the actual event. And then I practiced again with the new version, and it went well. It went really well. But there were still some glitches, some things I needed to rework and still needed to practice. And then the day came, my friends were there, and I performed. It was scary, but I pretended it wasn't. I just had the outside confident, and the inside was a little scary. And but it was great. It was so fun, and everyone laughed. In fact, one of my closest friends' husband is a big comedy guy. In fact, he reads biographies of comedians. He's big into it. And he laughed so hard that he cried. Yes, there was actually tears streaming. So I am very proud of myself. But the thing is, had I not gone into the fear, had I not said, this is scary for me, okay, I'm still going to go there, I wouldn't have had this incredibly fun experience and so connecting with my friends and feeling so loved on my birthday. And it was awesome. It was absolutely awesome. But, that's a tiny microcosm of what your whole life could be, is that if you have the courage to go outside of your comfort zone and do scary things over and over and over again until it's normal in your marriage, you're not going to enjoy warmth and connection and a great sex life. I just don't see that in my work, where somebody is cold and standoffish and even prickly and grumpy and their wife wants to make love to them. No, it doesn't happen. It just doesn't. So if you're a husband and you think that, this is unacceptable, the behavior that she's doing and the way she's not behaving as she should as a wife and these sorts of things, I'm with you on it. I want that for you. It's just your strategy of having this idea of expectations and mean. It just isn't going to attract her towards you. That's what you want to do, is attract her towards you. Just like when you were dating. What did you do? You went way far out of your way to attract your wife, didn't you? You had to attract her. It wasn't this idea of, I demand it. I'm entitled to her sexuality. You are not. You are not. You cannot control somebody else. If you have expectations and entitlement to your wife, that is a humongous turnoff. It's just incredible how terrible of a turnoff that is. So my encouragement to you is to do scary work, risky work on your side to change the culture. Do risky, scary work. Do the effort that you want her to put in to your sex life for the culture of your marriage, being warm and accepting and grateful and loving and listening. Those are things that are going to cause her to be attracted to you. And so for wives, the things that I want you to do about intimacy, about sexual teasing, about passionate, about initiation, all those things, they're scary and risky too, aren't they? They're scary. But the opportunity for you is that things can change in the culture of your marriage when you do your work. It's different than what the husband has to do, right? But this is the work you get to do. And this is your opportunity to change your marriage. So I hope that's been an encouragement that right now, in a difficult spot in your life, maybe there's job loss, maybe there's financial stress, maybe there's difficulties with health and fear and anxiety, all that. How can you see it as a gift? How can you see this season, this experience, this very unusual holiday season? How can you see it as a gift? That's my invitation to you, is because when life gets jostled, you can redefine what normal is. So that's my encouragement. Let's pray. Father, I pray for the person listening, God, that they would have hope and faith that things can change, Lord, that they would do the hard, scary, risky work, the vulnerable work that could make them look stupid and could make them look silly and could make them look like an idiot. So what? The bigger purpose is to change their marriage, is to have a warmer environment. And it could happen after days and days and days of looking silly. Great. It's worth it. It's worth it. It's worth it to get outside of their comfort zone and do something new to actually change the marriage. I pray for grace, and I pray also their kids would be involved, that they would recognize how wonderfully playful and fun kids can be, and you would just shift cultures of families around the world. Lord, shift them, God, to connection and warmth and wanting to love others well, and less selfish and self-centered and more others-centered and others-loving. Lord, I pray for your grace in all of this, in Jesus' mighty name. Amen. All right. Well, wishing you a wonderful Christmas and a wonderful New Year. And again, I would love to offer you some free trainings. You can go to delightyourmarriage.com/advice for husbands, and then delightyourmarriage.com/SC for the seductive confidence training for women. God bless you. I really look forward to speaking to you as we're closing in on the new year. God bless. Bye.